Solo Leveling, a South Korean web novel, has gotten a lot of attention over the past year due to the release of the new anime. But here are a few reasons why you should pick up the books. Let's talk about it. Hey there everybody, welcome back to Fantasy Inc. My name is Wyeth, and today we are talking about Solo Leveling by Chugon. This is an 8-book series, and it definitely lived up to the hype. I had touched on the anime, watched a little bit, have not gotten all the way through, but was so impressed with it, I decided that I wanted to first read the books, at least the first one, and then I could go back and watch the rest of the series. Because in my opinion, you should always read the books before checking out the TV show or the animation or the movie. I started the first one not knowing it was only going to be 5 hours and jumped straight into the second one. And after about 3 days, I had completed all 8 of them, which is how many are out. And yes, it is a completed series with, I believe, the intentions of a spin-off. With all that said though, let me go ahead and jump into a semi-spoiler-free synopsis of what y'all will be getting into if you do decide to pick up these books. Jinwoo is an E-ranked hunter, aka known as one of the weakest, and the roles of the hunters are to close the gates. Picture Earth, it's the exact same, but 10 years ago, gates to different worlds started to appear, and it is up to the hunters to go in and kill the boss to close them. Because if they don't, after 7 days, they consider it a break of the gate, and those monsters who are on the other side can storm into this reality. And Jinwoo, being one of the weakest, has always tried his best to put food and money on the table for his sick mother and his young sister, and he is put into a lot of dangerous situations. The story picks up with him and a group of hunters going into a gate where they realize that it's not exactly what they pictured first and foremost. And after a few complications and some I wouldn't call them riddles, more traps, our main character Jinwoo ends up obtaining a power that no one else has ever gotten before, the ability to rank up. To give some more context, all the other hunters, when they awaken their powers, are capped. They cannot progress any further. What they're given is what they've got. And that is not what it turns out for Jinwoo. He now has the ability to level up and gain much more power, so he's no longer stuck being an E-ranker if he decides to put the work in. To be quite candid, this is a lit RPG through and through. There's no cultivation elements. Jinwoo has the sole purpose of gaining more experience points so that he has the ability to level up, and he makes sure that he gets that job done. Now, I really enjoyed the series, so let me go ahead and jump into some pro to give y'all more context about if you should pick up this series or not. The first pro that I'm going to touch on is how efficient the books are. I've utilized this pro in the past, but it is really showing through in this series specifically. What I mean by that is you're not getting repetitive actions over and over and over again. And there was a high likelihood that you could have gotten that with this series, because he's going into certain gates, and yes, those fight scenes can become almost boilerplate at the end of the day, you know, and you're not getting that. A lot of times in the series, there's time skips, not too far, but it'll just say, you know, he's been able to accomplish this task, or he's been able to strive for this goal, and you know, you're not having to redo scenes that you feel like you've already read so many times before, which is one of the big reasons why I enjoyed this series. The con for this series, and I mentioned it earlier in this video, is the length of the books. On average, they are about 5-ish hours. Yes, I bumped my speed up a little bit, so it was a little shorter for me. If you do decide to devour the series like I did, you're going to be paying a decent number of credits. I highly recommend checking out the web novel version if you're looking to save some money, though it's not like you can multitask and read and do something else at the same time like you can if you're listening to books. So that is something to consider when you do jump into the series, because I remember on Wednesday of this week, I got through like 2 books in one day, you know, and I had barely even moved from my computer when I was doing work. So there's some cons to that. Jumping into the second and last pro, I will say you get multiple characters' perspectives in this book, and they add so much to the story. I was enraptured by checking in on what was going on with this character in the Hunter Association, jumping over to what his sidekick was doing on his end of the book, and just back and forth, really all around. But it all kind of relates back to our main protagonist and how he is able to accomplish the goals he sets out to do. And with that, not a lot of book series have the ability to derive entertainment from these side characters. I can think of a few. One, to be specific, is Wheel of Time. Now, you might say that's a good or bad example. I love the ability to see how expansive the world is with Wheel of Time, right? But it has over 1,000 named characters. And there's certain sections of the book where you'll be spending 3 chapters with this one character that you'll never see again. So, at that point in time, you're not getting that here. Everything that you're reading has something to build the story up and make it much more enjoyable. All in all, I really did enjoy this book series. I thought the author did a phenomenal job and can completely understand why they wanted to adapt this into an anime, and it gives me high hopes to see how closely related the anime stays to the books, because with the episodes I saw, it was almost how should I put it, like a mirror image. It really makes me happy when you see a production studio take so much from the source material and try their best to make it as close as possible, because not a lot of adaptations do that, as we all definitely know. So you're not going to be disappointed if you do watch the anime or if you read the books. They're going to be, ideally, if I'm not mistaken, going hand in hand with each other. And for y'all's reference, I believe the first season, after talking with some friends, ends around the halfway point in book 2. So it's not all book by book, which I do appreciate. It'll give less waiting time for those people waiting for the anime. The people who have read it know it's a great series, and if y'all want to chat about it, feel free to jump in the comments. Try to keep the spoilers to a minimum so other people can also check it out. But it's always great to give recommendations for the series if you've read it to other people. That's what this channel is meant to do at the end of the day. So with all that said, I do appreciate everyone's time. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week, and be sure to keep reading.